So guys, welcome to the 48th tutorial on the top down top zombie game tutorial series, and in this tutorial we're simply going to be creating a zombie spawner to be spawning zombies pretty much. So yeah, currently we only have one zombie in the scene. We have one zombie. Okay, let me just reduce the volume of the gameplay. So we have only one zombie in the scene, and when you kill him, he's dead. He is one dead mouse. Yeah, he's dead. So currently what I want to do is to I want to create zombie spawners, like where zombies spawn automatically. So yeah. So first of all, I'm simply going to enter the source packages and I'll look for, I don't know, entity. Where is the zombies? Okay, entity is zombies. And here I'll simply create a new Java class and I'll simply name it simple zombie spawner. Why am I calling it simple? Because later on as the game advances, remember we had a plan to, have different kind of zombies. Some zombies who were moving faster, some with higher damage, some with more health. And you can also have some boss zombies with boss fights and stuff like that. So yeah. So so simple zombie spawner is gonna extend. It's gonna be a game object. So we're gonna simply extend game object. Implement all the abstract functions, blah blah blah. And yeah. So I want to go back to the game object and see what the constructor looks like. Okay. So I have this, and this. Let me just quickly go back and check. Okay, so So I simply come here and I simply call super inside the constructor. So I'll simply write simple here I'll write super and good. And now what I want to do is to simply be continuously spawning zombies over time. So yeah. So inside the simple zombie spawner, we can have a few variables. First of all, I'll create a public integer and I'll name this limit. I can name it limit or whatever. I don't know, spawn limit. I also can create another variable. Actually, it's just in the same, just spawn limit. I'll create another variable and I'll simply say, name it zombies per minute. Zombies per minute. This will pretty much dictate how many zombies I spawn every single minute. And yeah, I think this is about it. And yeah, so now what I want to do is simply, first of all, I'm not going to do any rendering. I'm not going to be doing any updating. Yeah, actually, we could be doing some updating. I'll just leave the rendering as it is. And the initialize, I will kind of do some initializing. So for starters, I'll need to create a timer. So I'll need to import timer from java.swing, and I'll simply name it zombie timer. No, zombie spawner. And yeah, and inside the initialize method, this is why I would initialize the spawner. So first thing, let me just create a default value of something like, I don't know, 40 zombies per minute. And let me put a spawn limit of, let's say, we can spawn, 100 zombies. I don't know. That's the maximum spawns we can actually do. So after doing this, what I can simply do here is to init. Okay, here I can simply create the spawn timer. So what I can simply do is simply say zombie spawner is equals to new timer, and it's going to take in a delay and an action listener. So for the delay would be exactly how often should this thing be spawning. So since I have a zombies per minute of 40, I want to, and a second has 1000 milliseconds, and the minute has 60 seconds. So it means a minute will be 60,000 milliseconds. So that will mean we want to put zombies per minute. I think 60,000, 1, 2, 3, divided by zombies per minute. And let me just cast this into an integer. And for the listener part, here I can simply do that lambda expression. I can simply say E, oh my goodness, what is this? E arrow. And this will pretty much, so this function will pretty much be spawning the zombies. So in here, I'll say scene dot game object dot get game objects dot add game object, and let me just simply go to the gameplay scene. Let me close other and simply go back to the gameplay scene and see how I'm spawning this zombie, like the stats, like the positioning and all that stuff. The scene, and yeah, so gameplay scene. So okay, gameplay scene, and inside here I would add object new. Okay, I'll just copy this. Actually, I don't need to say scene.get whatever. I can simply say scene.add object dot. Okay, import those, and I can simply say scene. I'll pass the scene upwards. Yeah. And actually it means I need to take in a scene, and pass the scene inside the constructor. So yeah, I think we're good for now, and we also want to say zombie spawner dot set. Okay, dot set repeats to true. Okay, set repeats to true, because we want it to be repeating after every single whatever. And also want to create a private int, because this one I want it to be able to modify it from outside from the other classes. So yeah, so I'll say private integer and current spawned units. And inside here, inside the update, what I want to do is also to say current spawned units plus plus. So this pretty much means that we incrementing the amount of spawned units. And here inside the update, what we want to do, I also want to start the zombie spawner, by the way. So simply want to say zombie spawner dot start. And what I want to say is to simply check if the current spawned units is smaller than spawn limit. So yeah, spawned units, current spawned units, if current spawned units is smaller or equal to, is greater or equal to, if the current spawned unit is greater or equal to spawn limit, and why do I keep doing this? This is not Python, okay. And spawn limit doesn't equal to 0. is equal to 0, then we can simply say zombie spawner.stop. So pretty much what's happening here is that we're checking if we haven't spawned the amount, if we hit the limit, the spawn limit that we have. Yeah, so that kind of means if we hit the limit and the spawn limit isn't equal to 0, that means this. So by the way, when I set it up like this, it means if I put the spawn limit of 0, that means that it's an endless wave. I'm playing a mode where there's like the spawner will continuously be spawning until we close the game or something like that. Yeah, so pretty much, what was I saying again? Sorry, I was interrupted. So anyways, recap, current spawned units. So pretty much here we're checking that that we haven't hit the limit for the spawner and the spawn limit doesn't equal to 0. So if the spawn limit is equal to 0, that means that we just gonna continuously spawn until the player dies or the game switches off pretty much. So yeah, that's it for the spawner, I guess. So we can start the spawner here and we stop it there, by the way. Okay, I also want to add a public stop function. Public void stop. So this is in case we just want to stop it from outside. We can simply copy this code and paste it here. And actually I can rename this to simply just stop, because we can simply call this function, which is gonna simply call zombie spawner.stop right here directly. And what else? Yeah, I think this is about it. Yeah, I think this is it. So inside the gameplay scene, instead, I can remove this and I can simply add object. By the way, the zombie spawner doesn't need a position. The simple zombie spawner doesn't need a reference position. Reason being is that we can have, because we're spawning it because in here we're simply spawning it from a set position of 80. So yeah, so I can simply say, yeah, anyways, back to here. I can simply say add OM object, and instead of this, I simply say I simply say new simple spawner. New simple zombie spawner, and I'm gonna take, I simply pass in this, because this is a scene. So I simply pass in this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so let's try this out now. Okay, some sort of problem. Null pointer. There seems to be a null pointer, get velocity. So I seem to have found out the problem. The problem why it was giving problems is because see, this method here is being called twice. The init. It's being called once in the gameplay inside the scene. Inside scene as when we start the scene, we'll call the init first. Then we call this, and yeah. So what I want to do is to instead of, what is it called? Because every single game object is being initialized twice, I need to kind of fix this. So how would I fix this? Is by just simply removing this, get idle init object. Okay, I'll just remove this, and when I add a game object, where is it? I simply call init object here instead of init. Yeah, that way everything should be running fine. Yeah, instead of calling init, I simply just call init object. Okay, so I think, yeah. So now if I go back to the green zombie, and instead of saying add a collider, and instead of, I just simply say add component, it should be working fine now. It's because I haven't worked on this for a very long time and I kind of forgot how things work. Yeah. So yeah, so this is okay. So this should be working fine. So I went ahead and I removed the add collider method and I simply called the add component instead. Now everything should be working fine. I should be getting one zombie every 1.5 second or so. So yeah, so that's about it. So, so I feel like the zombies are being spawned a bit too fast. So I can simply go back to this simple zombie spawner and reduce the zombies per minute to something like, I don't know, want to have something like, I don't know, 7 or 8 zombies per minute. And yeah. And I can have multiple spawners, by the way. So after doing this, it's going to take a while for a zombie to spawn. And yeah, we have one zombie over here. And let me just change the accuracy of the gun actually. So let me go to the player. Where is the player? Where you at? Player. Okay, here. And the gun that I'm using, pistol. Is it a pistol? Equals to new gun scene. New gun scene. So let me simply just say pistol dot accuracy is equals to, I don't know, 95%. Yeah, it's slightly more accurate there. Okay, for some reason, the bullets, whenever the bullets colliding, it's not, what is it called? It's not removing. It's not removing this. Okay, what's happening? Bullet extends projectile. Instead of get game object, I just simply say get scene.get projectiles. Okay, scene.get projectiles. So this is actually a gameplay scene. And we have projectiles here. So I'll simply want to cast this into a gameplay scene. So inside the bullet, Shift Control Z, Control Y, Control Z. Okay, Control Y, Control Z, Control Y. And here, instead of doing this, I'll simply first of all cast this into a game, play, scene, and out of game objects, I'll say get projectiles. Okay, so I just simply need to go to gameplay scene and add a getter and set of projectiles. So, okay, remove. Okay, I need to say remove. So we're gonna go back to the bullet and want to say dot remove projectile dot remove, and we simply want to say this. Good. Now when we play the game and zombie. Okay. Okay, we also want to remove if it's not the player. So if game object is not instance of player, instance of player, because currently the projectile is colliding with itself. So let me just add, okay. Let me add brackets and add a not sign here. So yeah, actually I figured out there was a problem, the projectors are not going. So yeah, so now when we try this again, Good. So that's it for this tutorial. It was extra long. Yeah, but yeah, guys, make sure don't forget to like, subscribe, and peace.